In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with all of you the top 3 stocks that y'all should be keeping in your watch list for this week. So the market has been going crazy lately, and there's been a lot of volatility, which means a lot of opportunity. All right, so I'm gonna be sharing those with y'all. I'm also going to be doing an updates on some of the stocks that I've mentioned in the last video, and I'm going to be answering some of you guys' questions for those of y'all who dropped the stocks of interest in the comment section of our last video. Alright, y'all, before we begin, again, do not forget to annihilate the like button for the YouTube algorithm as always, and also do not forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel, alright? So let's get right into it, right off the bat. So in the last video, I took a bearish stance over here. It was on Sunday, or maybe it was Monday. I took a bearish stand and I told you why I was leaning more bearish on the overall markets. It didn't quite consolidate sideways. I drew a box like this and I told you that we could go sideways and then eventually drop lower at some point. All right. It looked like it was going to do it on that Wednesday, but there was the CPI data that was announced and the market took a U-turn and it went up to the upside. All right. So as of right now, I'm actually not bearish on the market for the foreseeable future, for at least for the next 2 to 3 days. All right. And we haven't been bearish on the market since Thursday, since that reaction on the CPI data. I'm going to be sharing with y'all some of the trades that we took, but in regards to the SPY and how it looks right now, there is two perspectives that I see, and they're both bullish, right? The first one is a little imperfect, and I say that because there's this neckline right here, right? And it's not perfect because the left shoulder is not at the same level as the right shoulder on the SPY. But the weird thing is, if we go onto the Nasdaq, all right, we can see that the left shoulder is higher than the right shoulder, and the other one is kind of vice versa. So there's an inverse head and shoulders going on here, and the neckline broke right here, right? It kind of broke on Friday, and it's just chilling right at that level today. Today was a sideways day, no definitive no definitive direction on the market, right? So we have to wait until tomorrow. I think that rebounds. I don't think that we collapse right through here. All right. The second perspective that I see on the SPY is still bullish. All right. I'm gonna erase this red line. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger like that. Move this over here, and then we're only going to look at this. Well, let me zoom out. We're only going to look at this portion. There's a bullish pendulum here that broke out with the reaction to the CPI data caused it to break out. All right, this is very, very clean, right? And this is why I changed my perspective on the overall market at that time. And I don't think this is quite over yet. I think the real turbulence, would hit at least 4,100, maybe a little bit higher, over here, this is where I would be worried, right there, at 41.50. That is where you should consider taking some money off the table if you've been long since Thursday. All right, so turbulence, expect some turbulence up here. I don't know how fast it's gonna get there. All right, if you got calls and it goes really, really fast, that would be in your best interest, and I hope it does go really, really fast. All right, so watch the overall market for that specific move. Now, the first stock that y'all should be keeping in your watch list for this week, that stock is none other than Intel, INTC. And the reason why is for the same reason that I just showed y'all with the SPY. There's a very, very clean bullish pennant right over here. and we bought calls on it. We've been holding calls for a while now since this breakout right here. All right, we bought calls on Thursday. We are still holding calls. All right, and my target on this one is right at $33. Right at this level right over here. Let me see. We're gonna go on the daily. There is a tiny gap. Well, maybe not that one, but this level right here, this level at $32, I expect it to hit it and potentially even breach it before we see some type of pullback. All right, so definitely watch Intel for a continuation to the upside. Also, I'm going to show y'all another semiconductor stock. Again, the majority of these companies, they move together. And recently, there have been news that Berkshire Hathaway took a stake in TSM. The news is right here. Well, yeah, it says Warren Buffett discloses a $4.1 billion stake in TSM, causing an 8% spike. So right now, if you look at it after hours, the stock is up, right? Which means that the other semiconductors companies should follow through along with this one. So watch Intel for a continuation to the upside. All right. Now, the next stock that I'm going to be sharing with all of you for tomorrow, that stock is Netflix. Now, Netflix structure is a little bit different and it's a little bit wider. It's much, much bigger. The pattern is on the 4 hour. Yeah, it's on the 4 hour. Now, there's this flag right here, right? And the reaction to earnings justified the flag, right? So it broke out right here. The earnings was good, and the stock spiked. It went all the way up to $300, and then it went down to retest the previous level of support, and bounced right off on on Thursday, right? This was with the CPI reaction, right? But then followed by Friday, and then today again it's going up. It's going to continue to climb. I think it's going to continue to climb until this gap at 330, at 333 actually, is completely filled. So we got some room right here. Watch it for a day trade. Watch it for a day trade. Worst case scenario that could happen with Netflix is that it has a drop all the way down to like 280 and then bounce on that same day, right? Like a doji, for example. We could see worst case scenario is a very scary doji that looks like this, that look like that. All right, and then another doji that's a little bit smaller that looks like this, and then last but not least, a continuation to the upside for the gap fill. All right, that's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, it just goes all up there in one day. Best case scenario. So just watch it for that potential move on Netflix. That's the second stock. The third stock that y'all should be keeping in your watch list for this week specifically, that stock is Meta. All right, and Meta, this one doesn't really have a clean structure, right? There's no structure that I can tell you that to justify any moves, but it's climbing with the overall market and is filling the gap right here on the left from the previous earnings where it collapsed, right? So it has room to 127. It's a matter of how is it going to get there. So watch this one for a run. There could be an intraday setup that would make it easier to know exactly when it's going to get there. But watch this one as well, all right? So those are the top three stocks that you should be keeping in your watch list. Now, let's do a let's look at some stocks that I've mentioned previously. So the first stock that I mentioned in the last video was JD. All right, and if you watch that video, which I'm gonna pin it at the top over here, that way you can watch it. I told you specifically one stock for the bulls, JD, two stocks for the bears, which are Roblox and Disney. All right, so JD did really, really well. It went all the way up to $48, like I told you guys. It went there by Friday, all right? And then today it jumped up to $52. So congrats to anybody who was able to make some money on this trade. A very simple trade, all right? Now the next one is Roblox. All right, and Roblox, I warned you guys about earnings. I told y'all that I was leaning bearish on it. Number one, because of the bearish engulfing candle right here. And number two, I mean the situation, I was bearish on the overall market, right? My sentiments on the market was bearish before the CPI data was reported. And then ultimately, Roblox actually tanked, like I told y'all. If you gamble through earnings, congratulations. Again, I told y'all not to gamble. Some of y'all probably did. So if you did gamble through it and made money, congratulations. The next one also did the same thing. Disney. I told y'all I was bearish for the move down to 91 at least. It opened up at 91 and then it went all the way down to 86. All right. So it did exactly what I expected it to do. Right now is not the time to be short. Right now, it's either going to go sideways and chop and then eventually fill this gap right here, right? That's what I see. That's what I see it doing in the near future for Disney. Now, in regards to some of the trades that I took, all right, I'm gonna share with y'all some of the trades, especially on the starting on the 10th. All right, first and foremost, I took a loss. I took a loss on CLL. All right, I shorted CLL for this specific reason. All right, there was this structure going on. All right, and the CPI data was coming up. Again, I was leaning bearish on the overall market, and this structure looked decent for a potential short. Unfortunately, the reaction was positive. Therefore, I had to close this one like in a few moments after market open on Thursday. And following that, we took a day trade on Bank of America because there was a very clean ascending triangle on here. All right, as you can see, the entry was right there with these calls. Right here, it got in at 0.17, and then I ended up selling them as they got closer and closer to the target. Like the target was 38.61, right? But it couldn't quite make it there fast. So I got rid of at least half of my calls at 11 for 33 for 100% profit. And then I got rid of the rest of my calls 20 minutes afterwards when it started to like go sideways a little bit. Eventually it made it up. It made it up to the target the next day, but that wasn't my real intentions. I wanted it to get there on that same day. It was a day trade. So that's kind of why I got rid of it. All right, and after I got rid of it, I just took a trade on INTC again with that breakout right here, and this is the one that I'm still holding. Those contracts are still paying, and I think that they will pay some more tomorrow. All right, so that's my very honest thoughts and opinions on all of these stocks, and that is the end of the video. Again, do not forget to annihilate the like button for the YouTube algorithm as always. Helps the channel a lot. It allows more people to get this knowledge as well. Also, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, definitely click on subscribe and click on the notification bell along with all notifications. That way you don't miss out on future uploads. If you'd like to be part of a private Discord community where you can get all of this information in real time as I see them, you can find that as the first link in the description of the video below. If you haven't followed me on social media yet, you can find me at NGumah and the PATTERNOLOGY LAB on Instagram and on Twitter. And lastly, if all of this is brand new to you, if you're interested in getting started in a stock market, there are some basic step-by-step directions in the description of the video below. Step 1 to step 3. It only takes about 10 to 15 minutes for you to get set up with all the tools you need to start trading immediately. You can also get some free stocks after signing up with Webull using the third link in the description of the video below. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is NGumah, the PATTERNOLOGY LAB, where we trade patterns and patterns only. And I will see all of you in the next video.